Well, it's 6 p.m. December the 4th. Welcome to our commissioners meeting. Jeremy is live via Zoom. There are Title VI forms on the back table. If you care to fill one of those out, you can and turn it into the auditor's office. If you'd all stand, I'd like to ask Dana Parker to lead us in the pledge, followed by prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'd all bow with me. Heavenly Father, we gather here tonight to take care of the county's business. Help us all to have open minds and open ears and open hearts. May we all look pleasurable in your eyes and have us to do what's right by you. All this we ask in your name. Amen.
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 Minutes. Questions, corrections?
I didn't have anything.
I didn't see anything either. I'd move to approve.
Second.
I would concur. Claims. You guys see anything on claims?
I did not.
I didn't have anything either. I'd move to approve.
I would second.
I would concur. Payroll. Payroll as
I'd move to approve.
Second.
And I would concur. Todd Houck.
Read through them, buddy.
Well, let's do them.
Been great.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I'll try and be as brief as I can.
Please.
I have another gentleman retired. His last day is the 7th. His name's Kevin Colson. 34 years of experience. In the last 4 years, with the experience that has retired, it equals up 358 years of experience. So I wish Kevin the best. We've completed the milling on 421. We're upgrading some roads, lightly spreading stone where needed. Don't want to put too much on just for the fact we got a winter season. Something hit, I don't want to push it right into the ditch. We're out doing patching. Bridge number 236 by the junior high is complete and open. I've got a few different little things that Sinensis needs to finish up along the sidewalk cleanup, and there's a handrail that needs to be put on the junior high parking lot side for the curve. And then that will be complete. The new highway department's reaching completion. I think they have a walkthrough tomorrow with a building inspector. So as far as the second week of December for open house, I think Mark mentioned maybe the 20th. They'll try and arrange some things to get it put together. Bridge 141, I'd asked for a commitment letter and ADA. I got that submitted last week to NDOT. It is now basically in their court for review, for recommendation. The community crossing grant is the next thing up on the local call. And that call opens up on 2nd of January and runs till the 31st of January. Tim and I have been looking into that, probably Tim more than me, in regards to the PASER rating of where we are on our roads compared to a bell curve. We got a lot of roads that are in that area of PASER 3 and PASER 4. Those are runs that PASER 3 would not be able to be a chip and seal, be an HMA only. But I think with the bell curve, Tim and I's suggestion would be do a polymer modified chip and seal, okay, to attack a community crossing grant for the next 2 years. Okay. In those 2 years, we'll be able to affect about 55 miles of roads. Okay, which would put us into our substructure being a little bit better to maintain where we're at. So before I submit for the community crossing grant, I guess I wanted to bring that up for discussion if there is any. We've talked to some other counties, talked to asphalt materials. This polymer modified chip and seal seems to be working well versus the old chip and seal that we used to do years ago. From my understanding, they took a certain chemical out of the oil that it just didn't adhere the stone to the road. So the first time you run a snowplow over it, and all that stones end up being in the ditch. But as far as a recommendation from Tim, he thought that was probably the way that we should go here for the next couple of years. And then if we had any HMA overlay to do on some roads that needed it, we would just pay with that with local funding. So
So the plan is to try to hit Pacer 3 and 4 or 4 and 5.
be basically 4, 5, 6, and 7 is what we're gonna be hitting.
Okay.
Right now, you see the 8, 9, 10, everything has been done on the community crossing grant since 2016. So we're basically just trying to even that out. And once I get to a 3 or 2, then the only thing you do is HMO overlay. Okay. The cost, I would bring that out. The polymer chip and seal is $28,000 per mile. HMA overlay is about $116,000 per mile.
Sounds like a good plan to me. Get in front of them before they have to take the overlay.
Yeah. The last thing I need to mention is they had an open house at the old highway department last Saturday from 9:30 to 2. Had several people come by with interest in that facility. I think in the auction next Saturday, the 16th, Mark? I think it's the
I
16th.
think it's on Thursday night.
No, that'll be on Saturday, next Saturday.
That's right. It's Saturday, the 16th.
Yeah. I think that's what the flyer said.
It'll be 2 weeks. A week from this Saturday.
Okay. So other than that, we had a lot of people came by and asked questions and some stuff I didn't know. So I think there's definitely some interest in that old highway department. That's all I got. You gentlemen got anything for me?
I do not.
I do not.
I know that the 20th for me, I'm looking at my calendar now and I do have a conflict for that. So if that's the best date, I won't be there for that. But if that's the best date and that works for everybody, then go ahead and plan it for that date.
Yeah, but the 19th wouldn't be better, I suppose, or
19th.
We were gonna think about the 19th, but the council meets that day.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if that's something where that's the best date available, then that's the best date available. I know it's hard this time of year with the holidays.
All right. Kenny,
Good afternoon, or good evening, gentlemen. Since our last meeting, I've had 26 building inspections, 5 new building permits and plan reviews, and 3 permit renewals. I had 1 red tag for someone building a lean-to style covered porch without a permit. Property owner came in and acquired a building permit. I asked him about holes in the post, and he said they were bolted directly to the top of his concrete pad, so no hole inspection was needed. I've been going through expired permits, making calls and for renewal or final inspection. I visited the Clarksburg nuisance property. From what I could see, trash was all cleaned up, probably burned in a fire pit. There were some toys laying around, and 4 or 5, maybe 6 55-gallon barrels are still sitting there. And there are many large piles of firewood. And then, like I said, it had a large burn pit and it had a mattress sticking in it. But I'm just gonna keep an eye on that one and make sure the property doesn't start collecting trash again. I got a final inspection scheduled tomorrow for the new highway department. I contacted the fire inspector to meet me there so he can test the fire alarm system. And the monitoring company has been told we will be testing between 2 and 3 so that hopefully they won't send the fire department out. Today I did get a subpoena from the Westport lawyer to produce documents on the property in Westport, and I gave those to our attorney, Chad Smith, to take care of. That's all I.
Okay.
No, not this time.
Anything for Kenny?
I don't
Gary?
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Kristen?
Good evening. I have a few ordinances. I hope you all got those in an email.
Yes, I did.
The first one is Wayne Kurtman, APC ordinance number 2022-22. He's requesting a rezone from A1 to A2 of 2.99 acres to build a single-family dwelling.
Looks like everybody present voted in favor.
Behind this, okay. Yes, you're all right. Everyone present voted in favor.
I'd move to approve.
Second.
And I would concur.
And then I have APC ordinance 2022-25. This is David and Heather Gray requesting to rezone 2.99 acres from A1 to A2 to build a single-family dwelling.
That too is unanimous. Everyone present.
I'd move to approve.
Second.
And I would concur.
Then I have 2023-7 and Stephen Hart requesting a rezone from A1 to A2 of 2.99 acres to build a single-family dwelling.
It too, 6 present, 6 voted for.
I'd move to approve.
Second.
And I would concur.
And then I have 2023-17, Paul Stone for Tim and Him Rentals is requesting to rezone approximately 1.417 acres from an A1 to a B2 for future expansion. It's right on the edge of Greensburg, right there by Stones and surrounding property.
5 present. Well, 6 present. Paul abstained from voting, but 5 voted for. No one voted against him.
We know what they're trying to expand. Is that a part of it or just rezoning it so they can?
Just rezoning it so that at some point,
It's one of those houses they bought next door.
Okay.
I'd go ahead and move to approve.
Second.
And I would concur.
okay, and then next is an ordinance to change or modify the current makeup of the Area Plan Commission. The reason I'm asking for this change to the original ordinance, The original ordinance calls that one of my members is the extension educator. And according to state statute, the extension educator, in order to serve on the APC, must be a resident of the county. She is not a resident and has no intention of moving here. So I would like to change the current ordinance that we have that makes up our APC membership to reflect the extension agent if they are a resident of the county, and if not, the extension board to place someone with ag experience that lives in the county, for them to put someone in that position.
So extension would still have a
They would still
role
have
in
it.
that position.
Yeah, and that's according to state statute. They said, if the agent does not live in the county, the board can put someone on as long as they are a representative of the ag community. Essentially.
They just wouldn't have that educator position on it.
Right.
What's that?
Have you seen that or reviewed it or heard anything of it?
I looked at it a while back when we first talked about this, and yes, the educator, if unavailable or unfit to serve, they do get to place someone there, yeah. That's the state statute, so that would be in line.
This is basically just adjusting our ordinance to be in line with what the state statute has.
Right.
We have an odd number of voting members.
Jeremy, anything?
No, Chad answered the question that I had.
Motion to accept this ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
I second.
And I would concur. Got a number? You have a number?
It's 2023-30.
Go to the middle of the document.
Here.
And that's all I have. Do you have anything for me?
I do not.
I don't.
Thank you.
Seems like we're still getting new houses. That's a good thing, good sign.
Yes, it is.
Rick Nobby and Brian Robbins. Step on up.
Yeah, Laurel and Hardy.
That's what I figured.
No, I don't know which one's which, but Slim and Spud.
For you, and Jeremy, I emailed it to you in real time. Here is the, it's coming from the broadband task force here, made up primarily of myself.
Over here.
Okay.
He failed on you.
Rick Nobby and Jess Barker, in an attempt to try to help facilitate the expansion of broadband in any way we can for the county. We have looked at the designation of an infrastructure development zone for the county. As you see there, what it does is essentially allows for tax abatements for any infrastructure in any unincorporated portion of the county, strictly for the expansion of broadband to the houses and businesses that need it. It's something that's been utilized in the state previously. It obviously corresponds with state code, as you can see. It's something that we're presenting to you guys as an idea to, again, as a means to help facilitate the expansion of broadband and to attract businesses to invest in the community in the broadband sector. Obviously, this needs to be advertised and such, so it's just an introduction to you guys. Also, I will be quick to remind, and Rick and I attended the BEAD money listening session, some of the broadband funds that are coming our way from the state, and abatements and many of the grants, abatements do count and can count towards a matching funds from local governments. So that is something to keep in mind in this situation as well.
So this would be the advantage of the provider,
Provider,
not the homeowner.
ISP.
Yeah.
And it's strictly just on the additions that they're doing to bring the broadband, so
Yeah.
poles, wires, that kind of stuff.
Yes, it's listed in the Indiana code as to what sort of infrastructure is available, and then the number 5 kind of lays that out. The tax exemption for certain infrastructure shall only include the installation of fiber to homes, businesses, schools, and publicly owned buildings. Exemption shall not be available for maintenance and refurbishment of existing facilities, land, and infrastructure is located on fiber to cell towers or satellites or long haul pass-through fiber infrastructure. So it's pretty targeted and pretty specific on what it does cover. And so those are the kind of investments that we need to incentivize to kind of help make the business plan for a lot of those ISPs.
This is time bound as well, I believe.
Yeah.
6 years after the installation of the ordinance, it will expire. So there is a time limit on that as it relates.
And that was the part that stuck out to me there as I was just reading through it. Thank you for sending it to me also, Brian. How did you come about the 6 years from the passage of the ordinance?
It's part of the Indiana code. It's in there, so we're kind of following that. And I assume you guys can adjust that accordingly if need be, but that's what's in the code there.
And so is this basically kind of the next step then down the line after we had done the broadband ready designation as well?
Yeah, it's just another incentive for the industry to kind of take a look at Decatur County and show that we want to cooperate with those various service providers, and I means to this is I would say, and I think it's a little bit more of a hardcore kind of incentive versus the broadband ready. Broadband ready was kind of just a show of organization on our part and a show of cooperation for an expedited process for any sort of permitting and that sort of thing. This comes down to a little bit more dollars and cents as far as the tax abatements go. So,
How soon do you guys expect action on these? I mean, if we do this at our next meeting, is that quick enough?
I'd say you've probably got 2 or 3 meetings if you want to have Chad look through it and run the paces on it, because the bead stuff won't be going for a little while yet.
Okay.
I will say though, what you might be addressed with, and I'll just read from a picture I took of one of the slides at the meeting Brian talked about that him and I attended. The folks that are applying for these grants will get extra points if they have a letter of support from county commissioners, county council, other related things. The Indiana Broadband Office strongly encourages local governments to meet with potential applicants and deeply discuss all plans. These letters should be judiciously granted. So what I would take away from that is that if Rick Nobby, internet provider, comes in and says, hey, would you give me a letter of support? You need to know that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do and have the plan laid out in front of you before you offer your support, because it does mean points for those that we would want to work with that could provide, and it makes them a little more competitive advantage if you do it that way.
So want to be sure they're serious and capable of doing what they're saying.
If we can help with that, let us know. That's coming down the pipe.
Thanks. No,
Right.
absolutely.
Thank you all.
Broadband's needed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Have a letter from the hospital board wishing us to approve the reappointment of Larry Roof on the hospital board serving a second term. Pat Cruiser is not eligible for reappointment by trustee bylaws, and they're recommending Dennis Fogel replace Pat Cruiser. So we need a motion to, I guess it needs to be single. Larry Root.
I'd make the motion first for Larry.
Second.
And I would concur.
And I'd also make the second motion.
For Dennis,
Yes, sir.
A second.
and I would concur. And the other appointment is Dr. Nicole Borsman as Chief of Staff. To reappoint her, she's currently that.
No, I can show her to expire until the end of next year, but
You know, this letter says she expires on 12/31/23.
I'll make that motion.
I'd second.
I would concur. Thank you for that. Want to take a look, holiday schedule. Patty got out to us. Is there any questions or comments on that? Try to get it approved.
The only thing that I noticed, and I don't know what the commissioners have done historically, but through both of my prior employment at the Warren County Prosecutor's Office and currently at the Shelby County Prosecutor's Office, I know that we've always gotten something for New Year's Eve, and I saw that New Year's Eve was not on the schedule here. I showed that New Year's Eve is a Tuesday.
You mean for next? End of 24. Come on. You are correct. That would be down here at the bottom. We wish to add that.
I think we should.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I remember last year, before I officially took office, there was some discussion with the clerk's office and their ability to deposit money that was taken in during business hours on the day that was, it's a holiday, Juneteenth, I believe, and that's, I think, why Janet is there today. She wanted to discuss some of the issues that she has with her office as part of that. I think it's a bank closure, and she said it would actually comply with statute as far as how money should be handled for, I think, child support cases.
We just have an issue since it's when we take it in, the state requires that we deposit it the day we take it in because we have to write the checks out the next morning. And that's not an account that fluctuates with a lot of money. So as soon as we take it in, it goes right back out. So it's a federal holiday since 2021. It became a federal holiday. All surrounding counties are also closed. It's just it makes it hard for us.
So what do you do on a Friday when you take money in and can't write a check on a Saturday?
It goes out the next business day.
Okay,
but we deposit the money on Friday.
Mhm.
So if we can't deposit the money the day we take it in, then we can't write it out. That's just what the state requires.
So then if we did not allow that holiday to be closed where you couldn't take money in on Juneteenth, then you could deposit it the next business day and still be in compliance with the state statute?
Right, we deposit it on the business day, we take it, and then write it out the next business day.
but am I correct in saying that the state of Indiana does not recognize that in the state holidays?
That's correct, yes. Chad, do you see any issues there?
Well, I only knew about this on a short turnaround, so I know what Janet's speaking of, that the expectation is to get it in so it can get back out. I don't know if that's by statute. I don't know if that's State Board of Accounts. Given the interwoven nature of 4D being a federal administered program, they also could be at play here. So I don't have a definitive answer other than I can support the notion that that's the expectation of the clerks. So as opposed to a Friday, the problem she is having is working and taking money on Juneteenth means there is no bank to go to that day. So it's not the next business day, it's the problem. It's that moment in time. Because if I understood you right, on a Friday, you would still get the money to the bank by end of business, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's, the issue isn't the next business day, it's that business day. That money would normally need to be in deposit, and you can't if we're working on a bank holiday. Because you're right, Indiana does not recognize it, but the federal does, which, so the banks are generally following that, and that's where her issue is coming in. But like I said, I can't give you a definitive, I can just tell you that in practice, that's the expectation of her.
So we want to change New Year's Eve for Juneteenth? Neither one of them are.
I just looked up the state holidays and it is on there for 24. It wasn't for 23, but it is for 24.
Then that'd be new.
But New Year's Eve is not. That's what I would do. I'd switch it and follow the state like we've done in the past. Make Juneteenth a holiday and not New Year's Eve. We're roughing to talk about holidays. I've never had them off, so.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Every holiday I work, that's when businesses are closed and we can do our thing.
10 years in the Air Force and 10 years in the Sheriff's Department.
Juneteenth is one day,
June 19th.
19th. Jeremy, what's your thoughts?
When I looked at the calendar, I must have looked at the wrong one for the state. And I apologize. I don't know exactly what happened there. So the last thing that I had heard there was Christy saying that it is on the state holiday schedule. I don't know if there was something else that was mentioned there.
I suggested dropping the New Year's Eve and doing the Juneteenth. Just following the state's schedule set up. They don't have New Year's Eve on there, but they do have Juneteenth. So we just follow the state's lead and do the holidays they do, which has been, I think, kind of traditionally what commissioners have done.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
I would agree. I just, 2 more holidays, get my calculator up.
Okay, I'm gonna back up. I just checked another, both of them were state. One of them it's on there and one of the calendars it's not. But they're both state of Indiana,
It's not on mine.
24.
State Board of Administration does it.
Yeah, okay.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. So it's on one, the first one I looked up, and then the second one it's not.
Yeah, it cost us about $17,000 each holiday we give in payroll. So, still looking.
Yeah, I found the same thing she did. 2 different places, both say state, one says she can't, one says she don't. But
I know it wasn't on state's calendar last year. What's your pleasure, man?
Well, I'm looking at a calendar here as well. Um, I guess to alleviate the issues for the clerk's office, I think we probably need to observe the federal holiday. That does raise a concern for me with Columbus Day as well, though, because we've taken Columbus Day off of the calendar because of the solar eclipse. Would we be having the same issue then by not observing Columbus Day, Janet?
If that's gonna be a federal holiday, then yes.
do we have to, we have to do the deposits like in person to the teller? No night deposit or drop box anymore?
It just has to be deposited the day you take it in.
Yeah, and they don't count the deposits. Depends on the bank. It's the deposit. You can write it.
Your question was, can it be night deposit?
Mhm.
Can it be? It'd have to be in person to a teller.
I mean, it depends on what they dated. I mean, if they're not there, then they can't date it that day.
Right, we always did, but again, doesn't mean it's steps. Can't be changed.
Yeah.
Because they count it in front of you, you get that receipt, because if there is a discrepancy, it's remedied right there.
We discussed at the meeting too of just closing the courthouse to the public for the solar eclipse, allowing everybody to come to work on that day also.
You're still gonna have congestion. We could find some place to park.
Yeah, that's what I don't think the sheriff's department wants at all.
Right.
The sheriff's department wants their 4 people to be out and go to work. That's their biggest concern, and according to the sheriff, when we spoke, was to have security personnel from the courthouse to be able to go and work the road. So if we're not open to the public, they don't have to be here. As far as liberal leave and liberal time off and vacation time and those things, that could be done through each office.
Given that Indiana is not following the federal holiday on Juneteenth, I can reach out to the Child Support Bureau and get an answer what their expectations are and wait until the next meeting to figure this out. I can research this a little bit and figure out what the answer is. There has to be one, because a lot of this state does not follow that holiday schedule.
Good suggestion.
Yeah, I was thinking we can pass it, and if we need to amend it to add that holiday, we can, or we can just wait until the next meeting.
I make a motion, we postpone it till the next meeting. No, postpone.
I'd second to table.
Thank you.
Okay.
Also have the commissioner meeting scheduled. The first meeting of the month will be an AM meeting, and the second meeting of the month will be a PM meeting. I'm told by our county attorney that he probably won't make the PM meeting, so keep that in mind. He is off the clock at 5 o'clock.
May I say something also?
You sure may.
Our office is tasked with both commissioner and council meetings. their second meeting being a PM meeting. We don't get the claims out to the next, or to the checks out to the next day. Council meeting starts at 9 o'clock the next day at this point. So we're going to try it tonight and see how it works, just as a dry run, because it does present some problems.
Takes away your afternoon.
Well, I'm wanting to get those checks out in the mail.
But yeah, you don't have that afternoon after a commissioners meeting.
So if we make the first meeting of the month, the evening meeting, and the second one, the morning meeting, that would alleviate that, right? You don't have a council meeting after the first.
Yeah.
So we flip flop the AMs and PMs. I know there's some hardship with doing the evening meetings, but the first three this year were exceptionally well attended and giving people opportunity to at least make one personal meeting a month if they want to, and there's something going on is something that was important to me too when I caucused in, something I wanted to do, be more available to people and splitting the 50-50 against swing shift people, the availability to come in during the meetings during the day, and the day shift people who are working to come in the evenings.
I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with flipping them if that's what we need to do to allow the auditor's office to fulfill their duties. I know when I was talking with a lot of individuals last year, and it's what caused me to ask the commissioners last year prior to me officially taking office to try the 4 evening meetings this year. That was based on conversations that I had had over that 1-year period in which I was running to represent Decatur County. And it was something that a lot of people had asked for. And I know for those first 3 meetings, I saw a number of the individuals that told me if we would have evening meetings, they would show up. I saw those folks at those meetings. So I think it's something that is important. I think it helps with the accountability of officials, because it lets people come and attend those meetings easier and actually participate in those meetings. I'd recognize we are doing a lot of things as it is right now with recording these meetings, posting them on Facebook, or not on Facebook right now, but on YouTube, so people can actually see these meetings and not have to attend, but they can't necessarily participate in the discussions if there's something that they want to talk about for a particular topic. So we are doing things that I think are helping people be more involved and have more knowledge about what we're doing, but I think it is important. So if we need to flip them from the second to the first meeting of the month to the evening meetings, then I would be in support of that.
Sounds like a plan. That's all I have, other than we are working with Hickory Mental Health to become our county mental health representative. Spoke with her today. They're going to send us a contract for you to review. So pass out these board appointments and try to get that settled our next meeting. Highway Department open house will be December 20th from 10 to 2. The details will get out later. We'll have lunch of some sort, refreshments. Some of our vendors are going to chip in and help with that, so I'll get that organized and get it going. Anyone else have anything? Motion to get home and see Purdue.
I'll make that motion.
Well, I'd make the motion to get home. Purdue part, but
It's still ranked one.
No, no, we gotta get back in the saddle. We are recessed. Thank you all for coming.